What's good, everybody? Jack and Lockie here, back with another episode of the off season. This is kind of a sub series now.
Yeah, an off-season little sub-series.
Yeah. So this is the first episode of actually the season previews. And today we are starting with the two worst teams in the NBA last season, who actually got the two top picks in the draft, the Pistons and the Rockets. So starting off, we're going to start with the Pistons. Last season, they won only 20 games, and they were very obviously they signed Jeremy Grant last off season, and yeah, so he was injured about for most of the season, it seemed like, but then you saw Sadiq Bey, who was a draft pick from last year, his meteoric rise. He kind of just came out of nowhere. A lot of people weren't expecting it. He was averaging, I don't know, like 12 and 6, I think, like really good numbers for a rookie coming in, just playing his role. You saw so in the draft last year, as they drafted Isaiah Stewart at center, who is kind of just like an inside rim protector. And he wasn't getting much game time to start with, and he was getting the Pistons were getting a lot of shit from fans because it was like, you've just drafted an old school center. But we saw near the end of the season, after the All-Star break, kind of how good he really is. He was getting comparisons to young Dwight. Athleticism, finishing at the rim, can protect the rim. And then obviously they drafted Killian Hayes at number 7. I can't remember what pick it was. Killian Hayes, who had in my opinion, a really poor rookie year for the hype that he was getting. He obviously went through injuries, so it was kind of a poor rookie year, but obviously injuries played a part. But he will, as we saw in the summer league, he's turned out to be he's on the rise. So honestly, I think he'll have a good year. And Sekou Doumbouya is also promising. 6'10" forward, can kind of do a little bit of everything. But with that out of the way, that was just a little review of last year. So today we've got a little bit of a criteria of how we're going to do this. We're going to say how many wins we think the team's going to get, a rising star, a most improved, the MVP of the team, a sneaky star. I've named it sneaky star, but really it's like just a player that kind of comes out of nowhere and shines. And we've done playoff contention. So obviously, this is my personal opinions. Lockie might have different. But playoff contention for the Pistons, absolutely not. No way.
They're rebuilding, so you got to give them that. But yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, I think this is what's going to happen with the Pistons for a while. And I know it even happened when Blake and Andre Drummond were there. They weren't making the play much. I think it's going to be a few more years of that, but it's exciting. It's exciting years. Yeah. Whereas the past years where they weren't doing anything was just plain terrible to watch, in my opinion. So yeah, 32 wins I've predicted, which is a bit more than last year. Like, it's 12 more wins.
12, yeah.
They've got a stacked young roster that can kind of do a little bit of everything. Most of them have obviously played summer league together, so they would already have a bit of team chemistry. And I think Jeremy Grant, who when he was playing and wasn't injured, was very good. So I think 32 wins is not that bad, because they will not make the playoffs with a record like that. If you were in the East, you have to make the playoffs with like at least 42. So
that's competitive, though. I like that.
Yeah, like as long as they're competitive, 32 and 50 on the season wouldn't be too bad for a young team. I think the ceiling's high for them. But I think we'll see them in the playoffs maybe next year or the year after. It just depends on the growth of the whole core, really, of Cade, Sadiq, Jeremy Grant, and obviously the key role players around them. So we're going to start with rising star. I think this is like the general consensus is Cade. He had a decent summer league. Summer league's now finished. The Sacramento Kings won the summer league. Lockie's
the championship they'll ever win.
Lockie's old team. So obviously Cade, he was all right, but like obviously a rookie coming in is not going to shoot like 80% from the field or 60% from the field. Poor shooting, but just getting his flow of the NBA game. Obviously, it's completely different to the actual NBA. But I mean, it's a start. Cade showing promising assets in his game. And then obviously being the number one pick, there's a bit of pressure. But I think for Cade, I haven't actually noticed much pressure. Like I haven't usually with social media, there's always hype, there's always pressure. But I feel like with Cade, I haven't seen a lot about like pressure and people saying, "Oh, he's got to do this, he's this," because he's in a small market. Everyone knows that the team's not going to go good next year. And I think it's a good place to start your rookie year. Whereas like with Zion, obviously coming through in a decent, he came to a team where they just made a blockbuster trade with all these pieces, and there was obviously a lot of hype around Zion. He lived up to it. But yeah, obviously I haven't seen that hype or kind of I don't know the word, but
the pressure,
the pressure, yeah.
In previous years, like everyone's just been eyes on whoever the number one pick was. But yeah, I haven't seen much about him either. But
yeah,
that might be good for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think any player that is in a small market. This is what I was saying about Ben Simmons the other day. If he got traded to Cleveland, it's a small market.
Yeah,
pressure is minimal because you're in a small market. You're on a team that's not going to make the playoffs, and it's kind of you can just play your game. You're not going to get 40 wins. You'll probably have 30. But yeah, I will watch Pistons basketball next year. Well, next season, because they've got a great young core. Cade is obviously the guy coming in, Sadiq Bey, who's had a great rookie year, like I said previously, which is why I want to get on to the most improved. Do you have anyone for most improved next year?
I have Sadiq Bey.
Yeah,
just based off how he played last season. I have high hopes for like Josh Jackson.
Yeah, same.
Like I really want him to have that that kind of sneaky star year, but I don't know. It's been this long, and he came in as a raw player, and he's still a raw prospect. So I don't know, but I also would like to see I don't know how to say it, Hamidou Diallo.
Oh, yeah, Hamidou Diallo,
who usually played OKC.
Yeah,
like a really athletic shooting guard. I want him to develop the shooting. I think he can be a really good defender.
Yeah,
that's the only ones
I think that's like a sneaky star. I think because his upside is his ceiling so high because he's athletic and he can shoot the rock. He's actually not a bad defender at all. Right. He's got like all the pieces that can make you like a great player in this league. And the same with Josh Jackson, who's obviously just been a trade piece for many years now. It's bad starting Phoenix. My clear-cut most improved is Sadiq Bey. I reckon he's going to go maybe like 17-7. Right. I think he's just that good.
Yeah.
And I see like a starting lineup of Cade, what's his name? Who we just mentioned? Hamidou Diallo. You got Sadiq Bey. You got Jeremy Grant, and then you probably got Isaiah Stewart. At the center spot. He's just really good at reading defenses. He's a great on-ball defender. He's a good rim protector. He can crash the boards. He can stretch the floor. He's kind of just like the perfect wing player in today's game. And I think he'll fit with Cade pretty well because Cade's very unselfish. Jeremy Grant could teach him a lot of things because they're in a lot of ways very similar.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think Sadiq Bey, obviously, Hamidou Diallo, Josh Jackson could be most improved as well because I think there's a lot of room to grow for both of those players. So we could honestly see that happen. Team MVP. I think this is Jeremy Grant.
Yeah. I mean, I have high hopes for Cade Cunningham because I do see him as a guy who can he can get his shots up and whatever, but he could also impact a team on a greater level. But I don't think this year. I think in terms of good word, acclimatize to the NBA.
Nice, man.
It might take a bit for him, but Jeremy Grant. And
I think Cade's going to be the player that's going to turn your franchise around, but not in the first year. I think a few years down the track, he'll be that team MVP that carries that team to the playoffs and can make them so much better. And we might see shades of that in the first season, but clear cut, Jeremy Grant. Great year last year, even through injury, he was still productive, averaging around 22 points a game, I'm pretty sure. Really good numbers from him. This is, okay, so college player of the year last year, out of Iowa, Luka Garza, was drafted in the mid-second round, and he, in the summer league, looked like a young Dirk.
Right, he was 20 and 14.
Something crazy,
he can shoot it, and he has a quick release. He's
quick release,
very skilled.
I think he's a bit of a smoky. I think he's a underrated, sneaky star. Yeah, Luka Garza. He had a really good summer league. You could see the shades of young Dirk and Jokic. His post game and his footwork is second to none. For a rookie to come out of college and have footwork and a jump shot like that. He's not a terrible rim protector, but he can crush the boards. And that's kind of all you ask for out of a stretch four, basically stretch five.
A modern
big, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can actually see the potential front court of Luka Garza and Isaiah Stewart, because I feel like Luka Garza can stretch the floor and Isaiah Stewart can just smash it inside. Oh, pause. Pause.
Yeah, a couple of pauses this episode.
Yeah, I've had a couple of pauses today.
If you don't say pause, it's not gay. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And then obviously playoff contention is our last thing. There's no way they're making the playoffs. The East is so incredibly stacked. And I just, holy fuck these birds, man. The East is incredibly stacked now. We've obviously got the Sixers, the Bucks, the Nets. Pacers look good next year. The Raptors look half decent. Miami, Cleveland.
Came from Miami, yeah.
Chicago. There's just so many teams that I think are going to be Boston, New York.
Yeah, just that step below, I guess.
A lot of stacked teams next year.
So for me, for Detroit, I see them 28 wins. Like you, I see them getting actually improving a lot. But again, I don't see them. I see the East being more competitive this year, really tight between different teams. I don't see see them. Besides the Cavs, I don't see a real clear cut bottom team next to them. I see Pistons being somewhat competitive. I say 28, but I could definitely see them 30, 35. And the reason I say this is just because certain role players I think can kind of get out of their shell a bit. Trey Lyles has been kind of shipped around, hasn't really found his spot. Jahlil Okafor, I kind of forgot about him, but I feel he can have his impact. Kelly Olynyk is pretty skilled big man.
Oh, Kelly Olynyk, yeah. Fuck, that's not a bad signing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Detroit's a good place for trade pieces to kind of shine. Trey Lyles, I feel like he'll be good. Kelly Olynyk, he'll be good as well. And then obviously they're not that deep in terms of impact, but they've obviously got great role players that can kind of affect winning. And like I said, good place for players to kind of grow because there's no pressure. It's a small market. Exactly. So Detroit. Now we're on to the Rockets. We'll just take a little break. Word from our sponsors.
Okay, so now we're on to Houston. I've got them at 23 wins. I don't really see them improving that much. I see Jalen Green coming in. I'll go with Rising Star first. Probably Jalen Green.
Yeah, I think that's
makes sense.
The general,
second pick. Yeah. And then also Dante Exum. I don't see him being a rising star on the team or having his breakout year, but I want him to, if that kind of makes sense.
I feel like we all want him to.
Yeah. But because he's, and where he played in the Olympics, I do see him having a 12, 6-6 type of season. You know what I mean? As a big guard who can basically do everything. He's improved his jump shot. I see him having that impact, and Houston can be a team where he builds that confidence, but with John Wall, Jalen Green, not much ball to go around.
I think the only thing with Exum in Houston is that there's very guard heavy, so there's not a lot of minutes that's going to go around.
Yeah.
That's my only issue with that. But yeah, I think Jalen Green is probably the consensus rising star. He's lit it up in the summer league. He's been really productive. He had some mean step backs in his first game against Cleveland.
Oh yeah, he can score.
He can score. He just reminds me
already.
He reminds me very much of Harden, and I think the G League kind of helped him with that as well. I have the Rockets doubling their wins.
Wow. 34?
34, yeah. Last year they had 17 wins. Obviously, Christian Wood was injured for a lot of the season. John Wall, he's a little bit washed.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
And he was injured a lot as well, even considering the fact that he was kind of healthy and came back.
I love John Wall, and I hate to see him like this, but I don't see him leading a team again.
He's not a very he's still don't get me wrong, he's good. Like he's still a good point guard. But for a team that's trying to win, I don't think he can be your starting point guard. That's just my take. A lot of people have different opinions. I love John Wall. John Wall, but I just don't think he's still got that same star power that he did have. A shining star from last year played for the Sydney Kings the year before, Jayshawn Tate. He was very productive. And in the minutes that Christian Wood wasn't there, him and Kenyon Martin Jr. kind of ran that front court. Very athletic. Very good front court. 34 wins for them. Rising star Jalen Green. Most improved is a former Cavalier, not Dante Exum. Kevin Porter Jr. Who I think a lot of people have kind of forgot about now that Houston's obviously a bit irrelevant. Yeah. But he had a really good second year in Houston. He had 50 points last year. Yeah. It was kind of out of nowhere against Utah, who was one of the best defenses the best defense in the league. I reckon he'll come out firing. He's very good. A backcourt of him and the wings of him and Jalen Green. And I think John Wall at point guard. I think he'll still start the season at point. Yeah. Will be very good. Team MVP, I've gone Christian Wood. I think he's going to be very productive. 20 and 10 guy, easy. I think he's just going to have that impact on wins because when he was playing last year, he was affecting kind of the winning mentality. He's a dog. He can lead a team. Well, not lead a team, but he's just a very good he's a very good first option for a team that's trying to kind of rebuild. I think Christian Wood will be really good. Sneaky star, I've gone KJ Martin, Kenny Martin Jr. Great summer league, super athletic, can rebound, can defend at a kind of a high clip, and he can stretch the floor now. He's developed a good jumper. I think Rockets have all the pieces to compete for the playoffs, but they're also young that I just don't think they will, and especially in the West where it's so stacked now.
Yeah, exactly.
Both conferences are equally stacked. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard for the Rockets to maintain a positive win record, especially with all the young pieces. And obviously they got that new center, Sengun or something. I don't even know how to say his name. Who I think will get a fair few minutes, which will be good for him. But yeah, the Rockets will go better than the Pistons, strictly because they have more veteran presence and they've got more of a stacked young core. And Jalen Green will average 20 in his first year in the league.
Jalen Green will average 20?
Yeah, 100%.
Efficient shooting though?
Huh?
Efficient shooting though? Because that might take a bit.
No, not at all.
40, I reckon 40%.
40% from the field, 35 from three maybe.
Yeah. Because Rockets have a bunch of really solid role players like Daniel House Jr., Eric Gordon, as old as he is, Avery Bradley, who I've got as I don't know where he fits in the lineup, but I got him as the impact player.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Augustine, they have a bunch of David Nwaba, is really good defender. Yeah, they have so many solid players, but it's the minutes are going to be hard to.
Yeah, I feel where are you going to find minutes for everyone?
Yeah.
Eric Gordon, what are you going to do with him? You just should trade him. He should be on a contender.
Yeah. Get him somewhere where he can
him on the Warriors off the bench would be really good. Him in Miami would be really good. He could fit on any team. Yeah. Him on the Clippers. Go back to Clippers with Eric Bledsoe. Yeah. I think he'd be good on any team. I think they should try and either buy him out or trade him because obviously someone's going to snatch him up. after a few days.
Honestly, Rockets should before the trade deadline, just get busy, get rid of your older players.
Yeah.
Get rid of guys like Eric Gordon. Honestly, he's probably the oldest guy here. But even Exum, because I don't know where he even fits in this lineup. Get rid of some guys who are taking some cap space and get something in return. Get some picks or get some young talent in return.
It's not like Houston's not an attractive destination. I reckon they could get some really good free agents next year. But the only trading all your vets is the vets are the ones that are going to help your players grow and get them used to the NBA life.
Yeah.
So honestly, everyone wants Eric Gordon traded, but he's such a good veteran piece for them.
Yeah. Just where he fits is.
It's just it's
I'm
hard.
worried about that, but
yeah. And obviously you got John Wall and Christian Wood, who are really good veterans. They've been in the NBA John Wall's been in the NBA for a long time. Christian Wood maybe 5 years. But that's still a veteran in my eyes. If you've been in the league for 5 or 6 years,
I think it's 5. I reckon 5's the benchmark.
Yeah. Rockets are going to have a promising year, and I think that's just the overall thoughts from everyone around the NBA as well. They will not contend for the playoffs. There is no way that they will make the playoffs. But they'll have signs of playoff ability. And I'm really excited to watch. I love watching the rebuilding teams. I'm really excited for the Cavs next year, obviously because I'm a Cavs fan. But the Pistons and Rockets are going to be the 2 league pass teams, I think. They're the ones to keep an eye out for. Lockie, any final thoughts? Any notes?
Yeah, with Houston and Detroit, like you said, it's good to watch the rebuilding teams because you see who can keep the ship floating while they get back to playoff contention. And I'm hoping that they kind of I'm hoping that both teams keep the core that they have, because I actually do see all of them developing together. Now, obviously, you need a trade here and there, but I really like both cores for each team. I just feel like they're 3-4 years away from, an actual contention.
I agree with that. I think it'll be a few years before they'll even contend, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young pieces in that team. Detroit haven't made the playoffs in a long time. Houston, obviously a consistent playoff team before last year. But I think the whole front office and the team knows that there's no expectation.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be expectation if you're the Rockets or the Pistons.
No, you should know. Yeah, know your worth.
Just go out and play, because, I can't remember a team that was really terrible a few years back was saying that they're a playoff team, and then they came dead last. Even the Cavs when LeBron left that 2019 year when they drafted second. Even I was a fan that said, I think we can be an 8 seed. They came 13th.
Tristan Thompson said that as well.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson. Now where's he? He's in Boston. But yeah, I just don't think they'll make much of an impact on the league to start with. But that's a thing a few years down the road. Same with the Pelicans. I don't think the Pelicans will make the playoffs again next year. That's obviously for another episode. But it takes a while for teams to grow and get a young core going. So yeah, exactly. That's it from me. I'm not sure about Lockie.
I'm good there. I'm keen for these teams. I actually am. Yeah. Going through the lineups is I'm actually excited to see what they can do.
Yeah. And I think this is a good first episode because they're both 2 exciting teams that people will just watch.
Yeah.
So it's good to get our takes on it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Leave your thoughts on the roster. Well, not the roster. Leave your thoughts on the upcoming season for the Rockets and the Pistons. Chris Davo, leave a comment down below. We'll love you, champ.
Yeah,
thanks for all the support. Same with Harry. You 2 boys rocking with us from the start. So shout out to you guys. Chris has got 2 shout-outs in a row.
Yeah, hey. His first one was smaller, but we got a main one for him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the man.
Shout out to y'all. Thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts. Comment on our Instagram. Let us know what you're thinking of the off season, who your smokies are for the upcoming year, and let's get this rolling. Episode 1, season preview. Thanks for watching. Bang.